This episode of Simple Civics Greenville County is brought to you by Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, providing free books to children 0 to 5 throughout Greenville County. To sign up, visit greenvillefirststeps.org/freebooks. That's greenvillefirststeps.org/freebooks.
Before we get started, Simple Civics listeners, September is our month. It is Civic Awareness Month across the U.S., and we are celebrating it at Simple Civics Greenville County with a couple of great releases for you. We have a relaunch of our website that includes a catalog of our past episodes so you can easily search by keyword and topic. And our Simple Civics Greenville County newsletter subscribers will get weekly information on how to engage at levels of local government. If you're not already a subscriber, visit our website at simplecivicgreenvillecounty.org, and you can sign up for behind-the-scenes information and details on civic engagement in our area. You civic-minded listeners know that the topics of homelessness, addiction, and mental health challenges are big both nationally and right here in our community. How can we have conversations about them with each other that are honest, direct, and productive, and in a way that reminds us of what and who is at stake? I'm Katie Smith with Greater Good Greenville, and on this episode of Simple Civics Greenville County, I talk with Ryan Duerk, the president and CEO of Miracle Hill Ministries, who is hosting an event to have exactly those kinds of conversations. Miracle Hill Ministries has been serving the upstate since 1937 as its largest and most comprehensive provider of services to homeless children and adults. From 3 p.m. on October 9th through 3 p.m. on October 10th, they are hosting Conversations on a Bench. Ryan will be sitting on a bench outside of the rescue mission for 24 consecutive hours, talking with a wide range of community leaders, individuals who have experienced homelessness, local nonprofit leaders, and anyone interested in stopping by, which could include you. Ryan will discuss how you can be a part of the conversation in person or online, and he's just the man to do it as the leader of that largest service provider in the region and as someone who himself has experienced homelessness, as he chronicled in his book, Counterfeit Peace. I'm here with one of my favorite people, Ryan Duerk, who is president and CEO of Miracle Hill Ministries. And I'm guessing that all of our listeners know what Miracle Hill Ministries is, but we'll be talking a little bit about it as we get into a really exciting event that Ryan has coming up, a really meaningful event. And so, Ryan, you're going to be sitting on a bench outside of the Greenville Rescue Mission overnight on October 9th through the 10th. And around 60 of your colleagues across the country are going to be doing the same thing?
Well, it actually looks like it's going to be about 100 of my colleagues in America and Canada will be doing the same thing.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I want to know is why would you sit overnight on a bench?
Yeah, so the backstory is a CEO out of Winchester, Virginia did this about 5 years ago. And it was birthed out of this idea that we just want to give a voice to the voiceless and have a raw conversation about homelessness, the good, the bad, the difficult, the trauma, everything surrounding it. And it has since blossomed and gone under the leadership of Citygate Network, which is the largest association of rescue missions and addiction recovery programs in the U.S. Our goal is to put a spotlight on an issue that communities like to pretend doesn't exist. So 100 of us will be sitting on a bench at the exact same time, from the East Coast to the West Coast, South to North, talking to anyone that wants to talk about homelessness.
Oh my gosh. Well, let me just say, I was able to join you last year, and we'll talk more about last year. But I came to see you, and I was just blown away that in my little half hour that I was present on the site, also joining you was Mayor Knox White of the city of Greenville. Also joining you was the gentleman who founded Sunday Dinner with a Twist, a kind of scrappy, small, but powerful nonprofit who cares about people experiencing homelessness, and a man who himself had been homeless for many years, who wanted to talk about, well, here's what I went through. Like, this is what my brothers and sisters experienced. I know a lot of the same folks as you. And then me, just a nonprofit gal in the community. I know that you saw so many other folks during that time. Can you talk a little bit about what you experienced?
Sure. So this was in January of this year. We were beta testing this model of us doing it together. There was 14 of us across the nation. We scheduled like 20 people maybe, and I ended up having 73 conversations over the course of 24 hours, which is really, that's not my jam to have 73 conversations in a row. but it was such a variety of people from politicians to nonprofit leaders to people experiencing homelessness, people who previously experienced homelessness. And there were some really challenging conversations along the way. I think of one young man who showed up and he had on pajama bottoms and a windbreaker. And on that day, it was 24 degrees. He didn't have any clothes. And he was waiting to get into the cold weather shelter. And, in that moment, we were able to give him a jacket. But had he stayed out that night, he may not have, survived the night. Go from that conversation to, people who are trying to do these collaborative efforts to help homelessness across the upstate. Just such a variety of things. But I'm so encouraged by how many people cared, right? How many people cared to listen or to watch or to stop by and talk about their own experience.
It was the coldest night of the year. And you talked about the people that have come by, and you're very familiar with this work, obviously. But just for you personally, what was the experience like sitting out on a bench all night long on the coldest night of the year?
It was really cold. And let me be really clear. I was not pretending to be homeless, right? Like it's very easy to think that it's some kind of staged thing. But at the end of the day, I'm going home to take a hot shower and sleep in a warm bed. Not the case for many of our neighbors. I had all the warm gear you can imagine and was freezing all night long. People have asked me this question a lot, like, what did I get out of it? And like, did I learn anything about homelessness? I don't think that I did. I think that one of the big takeaways for me was every leader should have to be face to face with the people their policies affect, right? So we make these decisions in a glass bubble and sometimes don't see what our decisions are doing. And so that, I had some people challenge me on some things that Miracle Hill does or is considering doing. And that's good. I want to hear their perspective. I want to know the person at the end of the service rather than just making a decision blindly.
Good for you. I mean, that's the kind of leader you are and the folks who you work with. And it's what makes you do it so compassionately. So thank you for that. You already had exposure and experience with what homelessness looks like, both professionally and personally. You have. But this gave other folks a glimpse into it. And I'm wondering what surprises people the most as they learn more about homelessness.
Yeah, I think that people stereotype homelessness like we do everything else in our society, and they try to put people into a easy to understand box. And the experience of homelessness is as diverse as the rest of our society. People are homeless for such a variety of reasons, from, serious mental illness or addiction, or they missed a paycheck, right? 60% of Americans, one paycheck away from homelessness. And so as people were watching this event, they get to see that variety of individuals who have found success in escaping homelessness and those who haven't. I would hope that people would see the humanity and recognize that these are our neighbors, that these people have value, that we have no more value than they do. And from not to get preachy, but they're made in the image of God, known and valued by their Creator. And each person is somebody's brother or sister or mother or father or child.
Well, Miracle Hill does so much work with people in really difficult situations of a whole wide array. Talk a little bit about the work of Miracle Hill Ministries.
Sure. So we're the largest provider of residential services to people experiencing homelessness in the upstate of South Carolina. On any given night, there's somewhere between 600 and 650 souls staying in a Miracle Hill shelter or an addiction recovery program. We're not just a drop shop where people just go into a bunk and that's all there is. Every person that comes in our door is certainly met with the love of Christ, and then they're matched up with a counselor case manager who is helping to hear their unique personalized story and helping them come up with a plan of escape. We do that through shelter programs, educational programs, workforce reentry programs, addiction recovery programs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We also operate the state's largest foster care program other than the state itself. Here's a fact for you, Katie. 50% of every child in foster care will wind up homeless.
Wow.
There's a great quote from many years ago that says, we need to stop pulling people that have fallen into the river out and go upstream and figure out why they've fallen in. And that's what we try to do, is do both. We're trying to pull people out of the river and go upstream and figure out why they're there.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And honestly, I started this question by saying that these are very difficult situations, and for sure they are. But once they come in contact with the work that you do, I think the futures are much brighter for them and for all of the staff and donors and volunteers who work with you too.
I got the best job in the world. I get to sit around and watch people's lives change each and every day.
Homelessness is very much in the public conversation right now, both right here in the city of Greenville, where you and I are sitting, but then, of course, at the federal level as well. I'm curious about, you all have been doing this work for decades, and now it's so much on the tip of Americans' tongues. How are you taking all of this in, and what's your position on any of it?
You know, these issues, these big society level issues, they swing. People's perspective on what we should do to fix them swing just like politics does. I'm grateful that there is a spotlight on the issue. I feel like it is my job and the job of other nonprofit leaders to season those thoughts with what we know that works. I don't know that I would want to send the National Guard in to clear out homelessness from a city, but I do think that we all have a part in ownership in those solutions. So here on the local front in Greenville, I'm glad that there is a really robust conversation going on about how we help our neighbors in need. And I think that, many hands make a light load. And if we all work together, we can actually make a change for so many of our neighbors.
Beautiful. Okay, so if someone is listening and they're very curious about what you are about to do on October 9th and 10th, how can they get involved?
Yeah, certainly they can go to our website, miraclehill.org, on the night of. It's October 9th and October 10th, which is World Homelessness Day. I'll start at 3 p.m. on October 9th, and I will be on that bench till 3 p.m. on the 10th. And they can join us on Facebook or YouTube under Miracle Hill. We'll have a live stream going. They can comment and ask questions that we'll answer in real time, or they can just show up and sit on the bench with me, and I'd love for them to.
And I just want to echo this invitation that Ryan has made to you, because truly I was astonished how many folks were watching it on Facebook and on YouTube, and friends that I knew, or, friends from church who I could see commenting. It was such a rich digital dialogue. And then to see people who did just drive by and pop in with some hand warmers or a jacket or a blanket, or to sit down and ask you those hard questions. It was just a really profound thing to witness and to be part of. So I hope all of you listening will take advantage of it.
And it shouldn't be profound. It's this thing that's missing from our society, the ability or the willingness to sit down and have a conversation about a hard subject. We used to do it really well, and it's part of what makes America great. But if we're going to make change, we got to talk about it. We don't have to agree. We've still got to talk about it.
That's right. Well, Ryan, thanks so much for all that you do and for extending this invitation to our friends and neighbors here in Greenville County.
And I'm going to hold you to coming out there again, Katie.
I would love to. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hi, Simple Civics Greenville County listeners, Nathaniel here. If you've made it this far, then we think you'll really love our newsletter. Sign up for bonus content, updates, and more right in your inbox. Look for the link in the description that says newsletter to sign up, or visit us at simplecivicsgreenvillecounty.org. Find the link in the menu that says newsletter and sign up there. We'll see you again next week.